Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. You can tell I have already started what I'm going to be doing in my tutorial today. I am very excited to take this time tonight and play some more with the Mikayla X Glamlite palette. I did do a video doing a challenge for my friend Lauren using all of these like green shades, and if you have been watching my videos, you have discovered that since I tried the green shades in here, I have been on a green eyeshadow kick, which you're probably thinking, okay, great, but are you colorblind because there's no green? False. There is some green on my eye. The shimmer right here is a mix of like a golden green, and we're gonna get into that in a little bit. But if you are wanting to see how I came up with this crazy look that turned out so beautiful, if I do say so myself, then you should totally go ahead and keep watching. Okay, so I'm going to zoom you guys in nice and close so that you guys can see how I created this eye look. Now I will say, and I will link her video down below, I did watch, this is not like my personal own like thing I came up with. I did watch Angela Bright's YouTube video before I filmed and started filming this right now to get this eye look. There's so many purple eye looks for her palette, which let me go ahead and give you a close-up of it. I mean, I bought this palette specifically for these purples. I mean, all of these are stunning, but these purples, I mean, everything in my life is purple, so I had to have this palette. So I have watched numerous tutorials, and I just was like feeling like playing tonight, and I was just like, purple, I want purple, but I also want some green. So I kind of did a little bit of a mix with both of these, and I love the way that it turned out. So I'm gonna quit rambling, and I'm gonna brighten up my lights just a little bit so you can see a little bit better, and we will do what I did here over here. Okay, so hopefully you can see this eye look. Excuse my watery eye, it's doing its thing. But hopefully you can see here what we've got going on, and we're gonna try to do that over here on this eye. So I have already done my whole face, and I did this because I wanted to see how these purples would perform before I just went ahead and did my whole face. So I actually did this eye without any base makeup, and the only fallout I had was at the very end with one shimmer, and it was honestly so minimal, like I didn't even care. So I was just like, you know what, I'll go ahead and come on with a full face so I look a little bit less crazy, and then we'll go from there. So I have already primed and set my eye with my Nars Soft Matte Concealer that I always use. It's the one that's in the little pot. It looks like this. And I just set it down with my Nakia Joy Cosmetics powder, which I always do. That's what I use to set my face. And now what I'm going to do is I am going to grab, what brush should I use first? Okay, let me grab, okay, I found my brush. I didn't want to use the brush I used before because it's got dark purple on it, and I used light when I started. So I'm going to take my Blinged Brushes Paige Corin Collab, which you can use 10% code PAIGE for 10% off for these, and I think they are going to be doing a Black Friday sale, so if these are something you're interested in or any of their others, be looking for that on their site. But I'm going to go into this shade, this lavender shade called MJ right here, and I'm just going to take that, a generous amount, tap off the excess, and I'm going to place that right here. Let me move my mirror. Place it right in the crease and above. This is going to be my transition and also my all over crease shade for a minute. And it's a pastel, so you will have to build it up, but it's already a very pigmented pastel in my personal opinion. So just know that it will take a couple of layers. I'm just placing that in my crease and then kind of blending upwards. I am taking that all the way in on my inner corner as well. like that. So it doesn't look like a lot right now on camera, I feel, but it is kind of a lot in person. But it's honestly like you're not going to notice it whenever we apply all of these other purples. But I mean, really, it's just a nice shade. So now I'm going to, excuse me, I'm going to dip into this shade called Pot 2. Remember, she is from like the Jersey, Boston area, so she has that Boston type accent. And she named, oh man, I just dug my fingernail in a shade. Gosh dang it. She is from that area, so she has named her shades based off of how she pronounces them. So this would really be, if you speak normally, Part 2, but she says Pot 2. Pot 2. I'm assuming that's what it means. So I'm just going to take a little bit of that on the same brush. Okay, and I'm going to tap off the excess. We'll go into this shade a lot. We would rather build these shades up than go in too intensely and having to work and kind of dissipate those shades. So just go in with a little and then build it up. And I'm going to place that also in the crease. Just kind of stamping that on the outer corner as well. Along this area and into the crease. And I'm just using those packing motions. And I love this palette. I don't own anything else from Glamlite, but this one definitely inspires me to want to buy more. This formula is absolutely incredible from Glamlite. And these are just such blendable shades. And purples are like the hardest shades to formulate. I have no clue on my personal end if that's true, but all of the like beauty people who make eyeshadows always say that purples are in fact the hardest shades. That reds and I think yellows is what I hear the most. I don't know why. Obviously I don't have my own eyeshadow palette. That would be awesome someday. But the fact that these are blending so easily and there's literally no fallout, that's why I chose to go ahead and do my base, because I didn't have any fallout until the shimmer and it wasn't even that bad. So I'm just super impressed with that kind of quality. So I'm just going to take this and begin blending and flicking that up into that lavender shade that we had in my transition. And then start blending that all the way into the crease. And I'm going to take a little bit more. Pack the excess on this outer corner and just start blending that through. Like so. Alright, so I have that laid down. I'm going to go back into that MJ shade on the other side. I've kind of tried to make sure I've placed all of my shadow on this one side of the brush, so when I go back to the lighter side, I have this. Now this was on a fully clean brush, but I had just used a neutral shade on it and just had like cleaned it off on the back of my hand. So I'm going to go back with that MJ shade and just kind of use that to transition and blend these two together. Like so. So now I'm going to use this same brush still, just on the darker side that I've used, and I'm going to go into this shade called Frisky. It's the deepest purple. It's like a warm tone. I don't know if the camera's doing it justice. It's like a warm toned purple. And I'm going to take that just a little bit, tap off the excess, and place that right here on the outer third to really give this some depth. This is the darkest shade as far as the purples go. There is like a dark chocolatey brown, but we are not using that today. But this is just a slightly different shade of purple, and it just looks so good. All of these purples together are just incredible. And again, I'm just stamping this right there. It will obviously all come together at the end, so don't be scared. Like I said, I literally just watched this tutorial 30 minutes ago, came up with this. Now we're doing it over here. It can clearly be done, and I did eyeliner. Can't say that eyeliner will be fascinating over here. We'll see. One eye was good, that means this one's destined to be not good. But we will pray to the eyeliner gods. So, I'm just going to keep taking that and building this up and blending it out. I'm going to go in with the pot 2, the second purple shade, and just kind of put that back in the crease so we don't lose that shade of purple. And then I'm going to go back in and I'm going to use an angled brush, an angled bling brush. This is the E5. And I'm just going to go into, oh, that's totally not the right brush. I mean the E1. And I'm going to go into that first shade, MJ, and just kind of use that to soften these edges back with that lighter shade. And I'm just kind of stamping that, and then I'll blend it out. It does have a little bit of shimmer on it from when I was touching up my other eye, but that's okay. But like, you can clearly see the differences in the purples, which I like. I can't, like, I suck. I can only do that with this eye. I look stupid at this point, so we're just not gonna do that. Okay, so there's all of the purples laid down at this point. So again, that's all the purples I have used. So now I'm gonna go in and do what I first did, and I'm gonna use my E4, my blinged brushes, and I have one side covered in purple, and the other side is covered in this green shade. So this is in fact a green shade. I will show it to you in the palette. This is the shade called Stunnin'. Right here, it's this beautiful lime green. And one thing you do have to be careful with, these shimmers are incredibly emollient and soft that like just barely dipping your brush in will like dent in the pan, which is what happened to my green shade. So if you own this and you haven't used it yet, just know that you have to be a little careful with them. Don't press too hard, but it also then tells you like the quality of these are gonna be insane. So I'm just going to spray my brush on the green side again. I'm just using my Morphe Continuous Setting Mist, and I'm gonna go into the shade Stunnin', which literally looks stunning. Like, she got that right on the money. There it is on the brush. I don't know if you can see. I mean, that's just stunning. So I'm just going to place that, then I'm going to kind of make a fake cut crease, like half cut crease, using this shade and stamping that right here all the way through the inner like half of my lid. And you all are seeing purple, but on the other side is clearly that green shade. I mean, that's just with like brush application, and usually the best application for shimmer shades is your finger for, you know, whatever reason. So there it is laid down. It comes across a little more gold on camera, but it's truly like lime green. However, I am going to add a little bit of this gold just to kind of tie in some of those shades. I'm going to add this shade called Accent right here. She's got several different shades of gold in here. And I'm just going to use the same side of that green that I did and just put a little bit of gold. We don't want to overpower it with the green, but just to have a little something, a little pop of something. And again, it doesn't make the biggest difference, but just playing around with another color. So now I'm going to flip, oh, do you all see this? Do you see this? Do you see it? It's happening. This is real life. This is what I deal with every freaking day. And this is why I can't wear makeup every day, because this stuff happens all the time. Oh my gosh. hold on, please. And unfortunately, I can't always just whip out a makeup sponge and take care of that. Ugh, I hate that so much. You all saw it right here, live TV, because that's what this is. Anyway, I'm going to stop being dramatic, and I'm going to flip it over to the purple side, and I'm going to kind of go in between the shade New Beige, which is this purple shimmer that's stunning, and this shade called Portuguese right here, these two purple shimmers, which are to die for. And I'm just going to kind of do a little bit of both and just use that on this outer section to kind of blend these shimmers together and like tie it into the purples, so it's not just a super harsh cutoff. And then just to like really intensify it, I'm gonna wet my finger with my setting spray, and I'm gonna go into that Stunning shade again and mix just a little bit of the accent. And just like, I mean, oh my gosh, are you kidding me right now? I mean, there are like no words. Like, it's just, oh, it's so good, so good. I'm gonna wet my other finger and do the same thing with those purple shades. Alright, so then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of take a step back, compare both eyes. Obviously, I will add eyeliner. You know I have to do that off camera. We don't want to see the craziness that happens. You really don't, I promise. So I am going to go back in with my one shade that I use for the darker colors and just kind of stamp that back through the crease so we don't lose that depth right there. Oh my god, my eye is like freaking out now. And then I'm going to go back in with my angled brush and just kind of smooth out that lavender and buff those shades together. I feel like this one's a little bit more punchy than this side, but you know what? That's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. Alright, so I'm going to hop off camera and I'm going to do my eyeliner, and we're just going to cross our fingers and our toes that it looks as good as this one. Like, literally, this took 2 seconds. It was insane. And I was like, awesome, but I won't be able to do it because I'll be on camera. Even though, like, you're not actually going to see that part, I'll stress myself out. We all know how eyeliner goes. I am going to be using the Maybelline Hyper Easy, so we'll just see what happens. Okay, I am back, and I did go ahead and apply my mascara. So, wasn't the worst swing situation. I still don't understand like why I choose my angles differently. I don't understand. I don't get myself. But yeah, so they're there. You know what? No one's gonna be like, hey, your angles suck. I know. But anyway, I went ahead and put my mascara on. I did use the Maybelline Lash Sensational Luscious mascara, and it's just like it's like 2.5 coats really. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my brush that had that lavender shade on it, and I'm actually going to go into my, what is this, ColourPop Bare Necessities, and I'm going to grab this shade right here that's called In the Buff. I just need something a little more like lighter, just to kind of like skin toned color, just to make sure this isn't like too much and tone it down just a little bit. It's not going to do a ton, but it will help shape the look a little bit more and even out that transition. Like so. And then I am going to go back in, because I feel like I lost that deep burgundy shade. I'm going to go back into Frisky and just pat that right there, just so we don't lose that shade of purple. I'm going to do that on both eyes actually. Yeah, just like that. Oh my god, you can see this tear, right? Like you can see it forming. You can see it happening. Okay, it's gonna go down in just a second. It's gonna be rolling down my face. Okay, so there isn't really, the only thing I have to say, there are two things I have to say about this palette. There's really not a skin tone shade any lighter than this. This is called Harley. It is a skin tone shade, but I am much fairer than this. So when I actually used this originally on this eye, it actually was making it, how many times can I say actually? It was making it a lot deeper instead of buffing out and smoothing out the transition. So I had to go into another palette. So that's one thing for me. And the other thing is there's really no like stark white inner corner highlight shade. There is this shade right here. It's called Nars, which is like Nars. But it's kind of like a silvery, bluey, green kind of shade. I do have it in the inner corner here. It's not my personal favorite shade for an inner corner highlight. I mean, literally, what the heck. But it will work. So I am just going to take a tiny little pencil brush and just kind of put that there. I tried putting it on my brow bone there and I did not like it. The glitter was just a little too much there. Oh my gosh, where's this brush? There it is. So I am going to just take a little bit of it. I'm just going to pop that right here. I mean, it's a stunning shade. It's just not my personal preference for an inner corner highlight shade, but it works. And it's not like anybody's going to be really paying attention to my inner corner highlight except me, and it's like 9 p.m., so who cares? But yeah, so overall, hold up, we got to do some highlighter. I do not have the Mikayla and Glamlite highlighter. I was just trying to get my hands on the palette. So I am going to go in with my Ofra Mini Highlighter in Rodeo Drive and just pop that on the high points of my face on this side. I did it already on this side, but I didn't want to over here just in case I needed to touch something up and it didn't mess my highlighter up. I never like to mess up my highlight. Like so. And just put a little bit here, a little bit there. Call it good. And then I'm going to go back in with my blush brush and just kind of stamp. I love stamping over my highlight with my blush brush. Just kind of melt the two together. And then I'm going to take my setting spray and set it all down. Gross. Alright, so I am just like ecstatic about how this all looks. And like obviously I love purple. It's my favorite color. And I bought this palette because of these purples. And I am so glad that I did. And I am also so grateful for Lauren for like getting me into these green colors, because there's an Andrea out there who was like, no, not for me. And now I'm like, yes, give me the greens. So I 100% believe that this palette should be in everyone's collection. I mean, this is just so inspiring. I literally just sat on my couch for like 35-40 minutes and was just scrolling on YouTube for like inspiration and watching videos, and I kept thinking, man, I just want to play with some purple eyeshadow, and I know I haven't done anything with this yet. And I opened it up and I was just like, oh, so many choices. And then I picked a tutorial and I was like, okay, I'm gonna follow her tutorial. I will link Angela Bright's tutorial down below. I love her content. She does fantastic eye tutorials. Like, she is amazing. I highly recommend her channel. She has no clue who I am, and that is okay, but I definitely recommend it. And I 100% recommend this palette. Follow Mikayla. She does so many things on Instagram, and she's definitely a TikToker. So I just am so happy with how this has turned out. So I will zoom in even closer so that you guys can see my leaky eye that's happening right now, and that you can get a close-up view of my eyes. So hopefully we're able to see that shift of green. I think it's so pretty. This is annoying AF. Okay, so yeah, I hope you enjoyed today's video as much as I did. It was so nice just to play with makeup and do something fun. I hate that I have to take it off and go to bed soon, but at least I'll feel pretty for a little while. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!